Hi folks, how's it going? It's James here, welcome to another video. This is going to be just a quick response to a video which I've just seen by Richard McCook, and I wanted to give a shout out to Richard and his channel. He's been on the VC for a little while, not that long, and I think he's just gone, I think he's either on 100 subs or he's near to that, or he's just gone over that, not quite sure. Great guy, really good record collection. He's become a complete whiz at the fine art of the rankings video. He's done David Bowie, he's done Queen, he's done all sorts, but he's got some really good ideas for videos. Very friendly, interactive guy, showing lots of good stuff, so please do check him out and support him if you can. Okay, so his latest idea is to show 10 albums by artists where you've only got one album by that artist for whatever reason. So I thought this was quite good fun. And so I'm just going to whiz through a few of mine. I'm going to go with the same little rule that Richard had, which is it's okay if you have other albums by this artist on CD, that's okay. It's also okay if you have other vinyl records by them which are greatest hits. So you must have only one original studio album on vinyl. So let's go through, and as we go I'll try and explain to you why it is that I've only got one record by each of these people. So without further ado, the first one is Carole King and Tapestry. Great classic album. I like this album. I've got no problem with Carole King at all. I enjoy the songs on this record. It's just I've never been particularly enthused or inspired to pick up any of her other records that I've seen about the place. Just one of those things, just, you know, a limited amount of shelf space. This is known as a classic album, so I'm happy with that, unless somebody can tell me that I'm missing an absolutely essential album in her catalogue. Okay, next one, this is New Order, Power, Corruption and Lies, an album which I bought at a charity shop many years ago. I think I bought it at the Oxfam shop in Headingley, and obviously, you know, nowadays you would not find a factory original New Order record in a charity shop. I just never see New Order albums. I know that they've been reissued. I'm not particularly bothered about getting reissues of them. I have them on CD. I would certainly pick up New Order originals on factory if I saw them second hand, but they would have to be at a good price, and I question whether that would actually ever happen. So there we go, New Order. By the same token, this is a band whose records are not freely available, shall we say. This is Funkadelic and One Nation Under a Groove. I'm a huge fan of George Clinton, P-Funk, Parliament Funkadelic. I have a lot of their stuff on CD, never see it on vinyl. I would have to make a concerted effort to go online and, you know, hunt them all down. I do occasionally do that. I'll go and price them out, and occasionally I will kind of, you know, almost pull the trigger. But they're not cheap records to buy, really. So at the moment, that's the only one I have. Okay, this next one was a bit of a surprise. I kind of checked and I realised, okay, yeah, this is the only vinyl record I have by The Who. I have maybe half a dozen of their records on CD. This one I picked up not that long ago from HMV in the sale. And I don't really know why. I do have a Who compilation on vinyl, just that I've never got round to collecting them on record. Hardly ever see them. I used to have a copy of Who's Last many years ago, and it's one of many records from my collection, and I'm going to talk about that again in a minute, which have just completely and inexplicably vanished from my collection over the years. So can't say too much more about that without bursting into tears, but that's The Who. And who's next? Next we have Madness and The Rise and Fall. I got this for Christmas in 1984. Got a distinct memory of that. I've been heartbroken a couple of years before because my favourite boyhood band, Squeeze, had broken up, and I was looking for another band to get into. I lighted on Madness really, as I thought that they were the next best thing. You know, they were kind of witty, English, quirky songs, and, you know, all the rest of it, but they never really filled the space that Squeeze had left. I did have another album by them I had Absolutely, and that's also gone missing, but I'm quite fond of this record. It's sort of, actually it really strongly reminds me of my first year at secondary school. I was 11 years old when I got this, so yeah, that brings back very strong memories. It's a good record. It's one of them more kind of downbeat efforts. But but I've never been a particularly huge Madness fan. I like the singles, but I'm not particularly driven to pick up their studio albums. Another band which back in the day totally passed me by, this is Duran Duran, and I don't know what it was about Duran Duran at the time. I think I had a bit of a thing about Simon Le Bon, and they just seemed to be a bit of a hairspray pop group really that the girls in my class liked. Since I joined the VC, I've become aware that they do seem to be more of a boys band than I originally thought. I found this record in a charity warehouse clearance place, and I picked it up for about 50p, and yeah, it's a good album. Rio is on here, of course. It kind of takes me back to a period in British pop music when I was starting to become a bit disillusioned with the way the pop charts were going. It was just before I got into AC/DC, so I need to go back and kind of revise Duran Duran and go back and look at them again in the same way that I've had to do that with other bands of the era, such as Haircut 100, you know. I think there's more to them than I originally thought. Another band whose records I just never see about the place. I picked this up at a market stand in my hometown a few years ago. A guy who came, he had a great market stand for about 6 weeks. He appeared, he had lots of really great records. I bought a few of them and then he vanished, and I've not seen him or his records since. I think he had a couple of other Creedence albums on the market stand, but I didn't buy them at the time, and now of course I regret it because I never see them ever. So yeah, great album, great to have it on vinyl. It's got that great kind of old thick cardboard stock. Love it. Okay, another band that passed me by at the time, this is The Cult. I bought this last year on eBay, I think it was, after watching Graham Watson cracking vinyl, doing a big thing on The Cult. I think they're his favourite band, or one of his favourite bands. I'd never really given them much of a listen, so I picked this one up on eBay. And I wasn't sure about it at first. It sounded a bit like kind of Power Age era AC/DC, but done with perhaps not as much conviction. But it has grown on me since. So it could well be that I end up buying more Cult albums. I would have to find them in the wild. You know, they're not a band that I'm going to go online and start looking for their records. But if another one popped up at me and it was a good price, I probably would end up investing in it. Almost there. Now we have Black Sabbath and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. This is a reissue. Never see the records around at a good price. I do see the Ronnie James Dio ones about, and occasionally the Ian Gillan ones, but I've got to be honest, I'm not particularly interested in those eras of Black Sabbath. The Aussie era is the only one for me really, and I never see their records about. I would certainly pick up all the Sabbath Aussie albums if I saw them, as long as they were kind of under £20. £20 or under I would consider for a really good quality copy of any of the Aussies. But this is one I picked up as a reissue a while back. Thought I needed it in my collection, and a very fine album it is too. And we'll finish with some VCLT, which I received from John Bellamy a while ago, and it is Twisted Sister and Stay Hungry, a record that I used to see in record shops when I was a teenager, and I would always laugh at the cover. I just think it's got the most fantastically camp, ridiculous cover. And it's not the kind of record that I would have bought at the time. I was not into Twisted Sister, but I did love the cover, and I still do. And I kind of consider it to be a cornerstone record, even if you're not particularly into this kind of music. I quite like this album. It's, you know, it's good fun. It's kind of early hair metal, I suppose you describe it. Very cartoon, and it's just kind of party music, really. And it's a record that I'm really pleased to have in my collection, but I won't be buying any more Twisted Sister records in the immediate future. So there we go, Twisted Sister. Okay, so yes, check out Richard's channel if you haven't already. Wonderful chap, great addition to the vinyl community, lots of good ideas, and I hope some more people will jump on this thread. Take care folks, see you soon, bye bye.